right, so we're gonna go ahead and talk about Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yes. Chewy.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and start, I guess, giving our take on it and what we thought.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so John,
Yeah.
you saw it.
I did.
Just recently, right? A couple days ago.
A couple days ago.
What did you think?
I loved it.
I loved it.
It took me a while to say that because the beginning was just so, I don't know, it was just something to get used to because it's completely different. It's completely different from the three Maguires and the two Andrews.
Yeah.
Completely different. And up until, I want to say, maybe the middle of the movie, I was like,
yeah, you know what?
I'm down.
I kind of felt the same way. I guess you could say I was going into it very hesitant.
Yeah.
Still.
Uh-huh.
I was already kind of telling myself, man, this is going to be good. I know it is.
Mm-hmm.
But still, you kind of have to go in, tiptoeing a little bit.
It's a perfect movie to take the kids to, man. And so if you grown-ups want to take the kids, I didn't take my kids.
I went by myself. You went let them go on their own time.
Is Matthew mad at you?
No, he went. I'm just kidding.
Oh, he went. Okay.
But yeah, no, it was. I thought it was really fun, man. I thought it was a great movie. It was a different take on everything. I'm super appreciative that they didn't do the origin story again.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that would have slowed everything down, like totally.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is, it was his take on high school. It felt very much like a John Hughes movie.
Yeah.
Like Breakfast Club and all those Pretty in Pink. No, it felt exactly like those, but just with superheroes.
They should have played.
Well, they did.
Songs. Which one?
Well, they had the Ferris Bueller song later on in the movie.
Because of the that's right.
But anyway, so it felt very much like that, but just with superheroes in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those movies like we've talked about before. Like I didn't want it to end. I could have kept watching it.
Yeah.
I
would have enjoyed the hell out of it.
It was so good. It was basically, his struggles as a kid. Whether he wanted to be this superhero,
mm-hmm.
or just be in high school, or this student. He was kind of like teeter-tottering back and forth. Like he really wanted to go on his adventures and things like that.
He really did,
But at the same time, he was missing out on a lot.
Yeah.
So I thought it was great. Tom Holland is, at this point, the perfect Spider-Man.
Yeah.
For the job, for what they're doing, in the direction that they're going. I think he was great. Great actor. Very funny. He still has like that. Okay, Tobey Maguire has this quality about him. I could just hear it in the comments already. I'm like thinking about it right now. People are going to be going back and forth. Tobey Maguire's the best. No, Andrew Garfield's the best. Anyway, that's besides the point. I like them all, to be honest. But Tobey Maguire has this quality about him that is very, very nerdy. Very, like he's very clumsy, feeling as Peter Parker.
Ugly faces.
Yeah. And that's fine. That's kind of who Peter Parker is. He's very clumsy, very nerdy, and things like that. But there was something about him that didn't have like that cool factor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Andrew Garfield had that cool factor.
He did. But
he didn't have like the clumsy nerdiness that Peter Parker needs.
Yeah.
Tom Holland has both. Yeah. He did it really great. It's like the best of both worlds in one character. I thought he was super, super good. Zendaya, I think is her name.
Yeah.
She plays Michelle in the movie. And she was good too. I thought she was great.
Yeah.
But she wasn't around enough for me to really like say, "Oh man, she was awesome."
Well, she wasn't around enough for a reason, and they kind of explained it at the end, and it makes you go, oh,
yeah,
and I like that because of that. Because of that, since they didn't, show her too much. Jesus Christ, she looked like she just rolled out of bed, like somebody spit in her face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she just had like this glaze, and she was always like,
doing that. Yeah.
With her hair in her face.
You think she had like a baseball hat on or something?
But she was good, and
she was good.
The detention scene where he goes, "You don't belong in here," and she's like, "I know, I just like drawing you guys."
Yeah, that was funny.
That was cool.
I like that.
Her little, blips in the movie,
and that was the thing with the movie too. They had a lot of humorous moments, but not overly humorous, where it was like cheesy or weird. You know what I mean? So I thought that was really cool. The girl who plays Liz Allen, I thought she was good. She was the love interest in there.
Yeah.
She was really good. Michael Keaton, effing amazing. He was fantastic. Literally.
What can't you not do, man?
As of right now, at this point in time, he's my favorite villain in all the Spider-Man movies.
He's awesome, man.
For a long time, I liked Dr. Octopus from the second one,
Yeah.
and the second Spider-Man movie was my favorite for a very long time.
Doc Ock.
But Vulture, man, the way he just he was almost like the way Green Goblin is.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Like a mix between Green Goblin and Dr. Octopus.
Yeah.
In a way.
I loved how the helmet, when he took it off, it wasn't just, it retracted and it opened up.
The flight helmet.
So cool,
Super
man.
cool. And the other thing that I did appreciate also was that his origin story wasn't so like complex, or they didn't like spend 30-40 minutes on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like boom, 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 we're to the point. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
You know?
it was bam, there it was, and then here you go.
Yeah, so I love that about that movie so much. What else, man? There was a okay. What was your favorite, I guess, thing about the movie as a whole?
For a whole,
yeah. Without going into too many spoilers right now,
I can't because
it's hard. I know.
I mean, because it's one of the main things. It's one
Yeah.
of the main. Okay. I'll answer that in a little bit. Can we talk? Can we say like one thing a dislike?
Okay.
Shocker.
Yeah, I will say that.
I love Shocker.
I love the character of Shocker.
Yes.
And to see him in there was good.
Yes.
But the way that they I guess the way that they pushed that character along in the movie wasn't good enough for me.
Yeah, it was like the Zendaya thing. He was like blips, and then
there's like a small change, and it's like, okay, why did you do that?
Yeah.
You know? So I still like the fact that he was in there.
Yeah.
That the character of the Shocker was in there, but the way that they proceeded with it was like, come on, you know. But yeah,
I love that character. I saw damn Marvel Legends Shocker today. And I was like, oh man,
yeah,
I wanted to buy it.
But the movie as a whole, I loved it. I thought it was great. I will go out on a limb and just say that, for me anyway, in my opinion, because again, I could just hear it in the comments. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, this is my favorite Spider-Man movie right now to date. Again, like I said, Spider-Man 2 was my favorite for a very, very long time, up until this one hit. And when the credits rolled, I was like, wow, this was cool.
I watched Amazing Spider-Man, I watched Amazing Spider-Man the day before the Andrew Garfield with Electro. And I watched it to the very end, up until where, Spidey hits Rhino. He's going to hit Rhino in the face with the manhole. When it ended, I was like, "What the?
Why did you end it there?"
Yeah, and then they started showing the Insidious 6,
yeah.
The wings, and then the oh my god, it was. I'm like, why? I go watch the movie the next day. I was like, this is my favorite. It was like it just topped it. It's so freaking good.
As of right now, yeah, like I said, this is my favorite. I thought from beginning to end they did a great job. The way the story flowed. They didn't dwell on anything in particular. They were like, okay, you guys know this already. We're not going to go and talk about it again. No. Let's just move on with what we're doing. That's basically what the flow of the movie was. So that's perfect. Now.
Yes.
Because John's antsy. Come on. We're going to get into spoiler territory. So if you have not seen the movie, I guess you can check back in after a while,
like 5 minutes,
and something like that, and then we should be past it already. But we're gonna be again talking heavy spoilers of this movie, so just be prepared. So I'm lingering this on just a little bit, so that way you have time to go away if you need to. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get into the movie itself. Spoilers for anybody that hasn't seen it yet. All right, so John, what did you feel about the movie? Again, what is your favorite thing about the movie?
There's two things.
Okay,
is that they showed and they explained things about Spider-Man that makes you always wonder. They always made you wonder. It was like he can't always flip and always hit something.
Yeah,
he ran into that issue
See,
in the
and
movie.
I love that because they address that in the comics a couple, like numerous times actually. I know that they've kind of done their own thing at sometimes where I've read in interviews where they said that if if he's like out in the woods somewhere in a park and you see him whip up and swing away, oh, it's because there's like a helicopter overhead somewhere.
Yeah. But in this
but
case,
they actually made it to where like he whipped and it was like,
he had to run.
He's running across a golf course.
And you know what?
And it was that moment though, that joke where he was running across made me think of like a John Hughes movie.
Yep. Yeah.
You know.
See, and he had a real hard time getting around even in the neighborhood and homes and stuff like that. It just was. You would think, he lives in the burbs or something.
Yeah.
He can just he had a very hard, difficult time getting around. And the other thing was the suit and what there's so much, because you have to remember, like, different artists gave Spider-Man different abilities.
Yes.
They they this new suit that he had, it just so much, man.
Yeah,
it's
basically like Stark armor.
Loved it.
It's
man.
like Stark armor, but to like a different degree. I mean, this one of the funniest parts that I thought anyway was when they said something about and he was afraid of heights. That was one thing too. I thought that was really funny.
I'd never been this high before.
Yeah, and one of the the funniest things was when the suit asked him, because the suit is just like Stark armor. Named Karen, and he's like asked him if he wants to go into combat mode.
Yeah,
he's like, yeah, and then the eyes go red.
Yeah,
he's like, okay, like basically he was gonna kill everybody. No, exit combat mode. And it just goes regular back.
That was so cool.
I thought that was hilarious.
The things about the suit, kind of like if you look at the comics, if you read the comics, Spider-Man could change his
by switching like a little dial or whatever.
Yes, and it was in the suit, web
when that happened.
I'm messing it up.
That happened when they opened up the suit to his full capabilities.
Yeah.
Stark had I guess a training wheels protocol on there. So
what are you talking about, man?
He only gave him like the little things here and there. I thought that was great because I was like, oh man, they hack into it and they open it up. And then it was like 700 and something web shooter capabilities or possibilities. I was like, man, it's cool. Fun fact, real quick. The voice of Karen, the suit AI, is Jennifer Connelly.
No way.
And Jennifer Connelly is married to the guy that plays Vision in real life.
Really?
And he was Tony Stark's AI in his suit originally.
Yes.
But yeah, so I thought that was really cool. The way that they showed like a lot of the web shooter capabilities in there, that was really neat.
The bombs,
the web balls and stuff like
that. The wide span of spraying. The shocker.
The shock webbing.
The shock webbing is just the taser webbing. Everything he could hear things more better. He can is so amazing. Is just that was the thing. I kept laughing at that because I kept telling myself this is amazing.
Yeah, I know, man. I kept wanting to use that word too, and I was like, man, this is so cool, man. And I like the fact that he was still learning these things, and you saw Spider-Man becoming Spider-Man, in this movie.
Hey, what did you think about how they the Aunt May?
She was perfect. I love Marissa Tomei. I do. I have the biggest crush on her.
They made her really?
Yeah, I do.
They made her like hot Aunt May.
And I love that they did that, and they did it to the point where they made it happen, or they talked about it in the movie, and she was like oblivious to the fact that she was attractive.
Yeah, come on. Come on.
But I thought that was funny that they did make mention, like, I think the waiter's trying to,
he larvas.
Yeah. So I thought that was really cool, though. So yeah, man, I thought it was a great movie. Vulture, again, the way Vulture looked,
awesome.
Michael Keaton's performance was fucking on point.
I was
phenomenal.
I was waiting for him to do the.
I love it.
He didn't do it.
I love it though. I love his intensity. The moment where they're in the vehicle, there's a twist that had me like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Where the girl that Peter has a crush on, Liz, is actually the daughter of the Vulture.
Yeah.
Didn't know. Picks her, goes to pick her up to take her to prom, right, or dance.
Yeah.
And homecoming. Yeah, right. Picks her up, walks in. He opens the door, and Peter's just like,
"Hey, what's up?" The dad Vulture's all like, "Hey, what's going on,
those
guys?"
that performance that he had was just like, oh yeah.
Yeah, he gave that shit away. How do you do that,
okay.
man? You're like,
he's like
your enemy.
Pete. He's like, Pete, you okay? Yeah.
Like barely get a word out.
And he decided to chaperone them and drive them to the dance, and in the car, the exchange between Peter Parker and Michael Keaton, or Michael Keaton's character, Adrian Toomes, was just so like intense. It was like Green Goblin intense.
Yeah,
that's what I can only liken it to.
Beating around the bush shit.
And then real quick, he put 2 and 2 together, and he was like, all right. And then he turns around, puts the gun like kind of behind the thing, and he's talking to him when his daughter goes inside.
Yeah. Hey, honey bunny, you go inside
real
quick. I gotta do the dad thing.
So I thought that was so I love that part right there. That was so good. And then pretty much like right after he goes into the dance, feeling very uncomfortable. He's like, I'm sorry, and he just takes off. And that was the moment you see in the trailer where he's running, ripping off his clothes.
And that's the thing right there, is that it's those decisions. It's like Spider-Man in this movie is at that point where he's making his decisions whether to be the teenager or to be the hero.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And like right there, he knew what was going on is wrong,
and he knew what he had to do.
And throughout the whole movie, no one listens to him. They used him for Civil War. They used him for Civil War. They said, hey, if we need you, we'll call you. And him being a kid, every damn day he was waiting for that.
He was just left on standby.
He was left on standby, so he started taking shit into his own hands.
And mind you, I love the way that they started the movie with the basically Civil War from he was vlogging it, like doing his own like video.
Nobody
vlog.
can see that,
and it was so funny because it all matched up the way he was like filming something. Oh yeah, man, I'm over here at the airport. Oh, hold on, starts calling me. And you're on the roofs. Yeah. And you see him flip over there. Yeah, it's really neat.
I stole Captain America's shield. I went in there. I was and the door real big and everything. And it was like nonstop. It's like little kid shit.
Yeah. It was great. I love the way Tom Holland was Peter Parker in this movie. He was really good.
Awesome.
But yeah, like we were talking about the Shocker also. There's. I could already tell from his jacket. Obviously, that's the Shocker.
That was a Shocker.
And
he had too.
And he had the gauntlets. Those gauntlets are crossbones.
I was about to say that
they're repurposed crossbone gauntlets.
They look like crossbones, and that kind of pissed me off because you couldn't see his fist. You know?
A lot, and I kind of liked it because I was like, okay, well, it's making a connection to the other movies, and these guys are repurposing, all this weaponry.
Tech,
and so what about the 8 years later thing? The 8 years later thing.
What was that? Who is that?
Oh, Vulture.
Who was that?
The whole Yeah. You know what? That kind of messes up the timeline. It does. Where in the beginning, where Michael Keaton's character Adrian Toomes is cleaning up all the stuff from the first Avengers movie.
He got screwed.
Yeah, and then he's like, the world's changing. We're gonna change with it. And then it fast forwards 8 years later.
And then they're all teching out and everything.
But it kind of screws up the timeline as to what's going on with the Marvel movies.
How's that?
Like, if you'd have to, like, see, like, a timeline on paper or a picture to really, like, start putting things together.
But it has to be there. It has to be. They couldn't have done this and to screw with it. You know what I mean? It has to be. It has to be all kind of set up.
The only thing that I can think of that they're going to say, to, like, retcon everything is, oh, Doctor Strange did something to the timeline.
Oh, it kind of makes sense.
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
After Avengers is what he's saying?
Yeah. Because basically that first part where they show Adrian Toomes cleaning up everything.
Yeah.
That happens right after the first Avengers movie.
The attack on the city, yeah.
Yeah, and then 8 years later, they're all, again, teching out or what have you. But the other movies couldn't have been taking place, like, within 8 years. I want to say it's smaller. It's a smaller
window.
amount of time.
Yeah.
So it's weird. It screws with the timeline a little bit. Hopefully they make sense of it somehow. But yeah, that was very weird. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, about Shocker.
Mm-hmm.
So they had Shocker there, and I thought he was good as Shocker, but he became hard-headed or what have you, and wanted to go off on his own, and then Vulture basically incinerates him, and he's like, "Wait, that wasn't the levitation gun?
It wasn't that."
He's like, "No, it's over there." He's like,
"No."
Oh well. It's like, and then he gives the gauntlets to another guy. It's like, "You're the new Shocker."
Now that threw me off. I was like, that just doesn't happen.
Yeah. So I mean, I appreciate that they put the character in, and then they still have the character in there, but for it being like anybody could be the Shocker, kind of annoyed me. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was an anti-gravity gun. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that kind of annoyed me about it. Now I don't know if you caught it, but Scorpion's in the movie.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, the dude,
the guy on the ferry.
In the ferry, yeah, and that
Matt Gargan.
I told you, Jay. I told you that name sounded familiar. I was like,
and he even has a scorpion tattoo on his.
I didn't even snap to that.
Yeah.
I was telling Jay. I go, man, Matt Gargan. I was like, who is that? I was like, whatever. Let's watch the movie.
Yeah, but so that was very exciting for me. I saw him on the ferry. I'm like, oh shit, they're gonna do Scorpion.
Man,
I can't wait for that. I think Scorpion would be perfect to see in this scenario. So yeah,
they need to bring more than one. I think, if you ask me, in the next movie or so.
More Scorpion?
Like Scorpion.
more than Scorpions?
Bring three of them. Bring Scorpion, Shocker, and like Kraven or something.
It's going to be Spider-Man Scorpions.
Or, man, what if they made... what if Kraven was like the Rock character from Jumanji or something, you know?
Oh, God. No. He comes back with like the lion like vest and stuff like that.
The mane.
I would love to see Kraven. I think Kraven would be a great character because he reminds me a lot like Bane, in a sense where Bane is very smart, very conniving. He's a mastermind planner.
He's the hunter, man.
And
he's always hunting.
I think he'd be great. And even if they do something along the lines of that scene where Kraven buries Spider-Man alive.
Oh man,
that'd be great. That'd be cool.
And in do you remember the cover when he was coming?
Yeah,
out?
Like pushing himself up out of the dirt. That'd be
got
great.
Buried.
I'm trying to think. The whole stuff with Iron Man in the movie. Mm-hmm. I thought it was good. Tony Stark, like himself, like Robert Downey Jr. really wasn't in the movie. It was more all CG Iron Man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he was just he did voiceover.
So it wasn't like what everybody expected.
Yeah.
How everybody
it wasn't
saying,
like full Iron Man.
Iron Man, you know, it isn't Spider-Man Homecoming. It's all Iron Man Homecoming.
that picture with Iron Man's face everywhere or Tony Stark.
One thing I wanted to snap to that they mentioned in the movie at the end when he said is the last of the cargo on, and he goes he says Thor's belt.
Oh yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming that they're gonna give him some sort of new belt for like powers, maybe. I don't know.
Or to hold like a new.
What else was it? They said something. Captain America's new shield. So that leads me to believe that there's some sort of like understanding maybe now.
It's probably gonna be the.
Yeah, I think so too.
What is it called? Like
the new Steve Rogers Captain America shield.
And then they mentioned the new Iron Man. Oh, Hulkbuster suit.
Yeah, they said the Hulkbuster suit was there, and then I don't know, man. So I'm being led to believe that maybe there's some sort of understanding now between Stark and Steve Rogers.
Well, he's still not worthy of the
because they said new shield, Captain America's new shield.
Well, did they say when you make something it's like a prototype? Didn't they say prototype shield or something like that?
I could have swore I heard Captain America's new shield, so I don't know.
All right, you guys have been watching the damn movie.
But yeah, so okay, so and then the big reveal that they had at the very end was that Zendaya's character Michelle.
Yes.
They called her MJ.
MJ, yeah.
Now I don't think that she's actually Mary Jane, or I don't think she's actually MJ that we know. I want to say that it's more of like a nod to what we know because she's not for one her name's Michelle.
Michelle, yeah.
Yeah. It would go against completely the whole Spider-Man mythos and everything that they do to have an MJ be a Michelle and not a Mary Jane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think maybe that's like a wink to like, okay, so it's coming, I think. Mm-hmm. I don't think I highly doubt that Kevin Feige and all them would goof up something like that, something as big as that. So they got everything else pretty much right in the movie, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Now the other thing that I did snap to, and this was after the movie was over, that I went home, and when I watch movies, no, it's nothing like that. Literally, when I came home from watching the movie, I looked online, and everybody, like, you know, that I subscribe to on YouTube and all that stuff, all my fellow YouTubers and stuff like that, were popping up their reviews and all this stuff. I don't like to do that because sometimes there's something I may forget, or I may not think about it right at that moment.
Yeah.
So I like to stew on it at least a day or two, maybe. And then I knew we were gonna do the podcast, so I was like, well, let me just wait until we do the podcast.
Yeah.
The one thing that I did snap was that there was no spider sense in the movie.
Oh yeah, huh?
And in a way, I kind of don't care. A part of me was like, you know what? That's kind of like the typical Spider-Man thing that we all know that he has, but they didn't address it. Maybe he does have it, and they just didn't like talk about it
because he got hit a lot, you know.
But at the same time, it's like he kind of has the AI suit, so why would he really need spider sense?
Well, maybe that's the AI.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's
the spider sense. Yeah, you see that, and that's something that they're not specifically addressing.
Yeah, like because he was getting hit, man. You know, he was getting hit, and I was like, come on. Now.
Or the other thing I thought of also was that, well, maybe it's almost like a puberty thing, like. He hasn't developed that just yet.
Oh yeah, like,
you know what I mean?
Fully all his powers. I mean, well, he developed one. Like he's sitting there, he's underneath all this rubble, and you know he tries to push it up, he couldn't, and he starts to cry.
Oh, that was a good part. I like that part. I think that was a moment right there.
Yeah, well, hell yeah,
yeah,
that was a
I
moment.
thought it was great.
And then he just kind of like he's so overwhelmed, and he hears Tony Stark, and he's like, you know what, you what something about Spider-Man, if the suit doesn't make you, or you don't need the suit or whatever, just be you, basically.
Yeah.
And he picks all that shit up.
Basically, you can be Spider-Man without the suit. Yeah.
Spider-Man is strong, you know? And, yeah, it was just like something he just like discovered, you know?
Yeah.
And that was so cool. And maybe, yeah, you're right. Maybe you may be right about that. He may not has developed that power
just yet. Yeah. So I thought that was an interesting thing. And again, there's things that they're not addressing right off the bat. They did make mention of Uncle Ben, very very slightly in passing.
Shit, dude, I didn't even catch that.
it was kind of like, oh, well, we can't. They didn't even say Uncle Ben. They said, oh, well, Aunt May, I can't put her through something else that she's already been through enough already.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
That kind of thing.
I caught that.
That kind of thing. And they alluded to like him being bit by the spider.
Yeah.
But they didn't like talk about it. He was just like, yeah, okay, like it's dead. All right,
yeah.
Get it over. Almost kind of like telling the audience, like, okay, we're not doing that,
Mm-hmm.
Let's just continue. So I thought that was really great. Love the movie. I thought it was perfect. Well, maybe not perfect, but as perfect as it could be. And I really enjoyed it a lot. Again, like I said, definitely my favorite Spider-Man movie right now to date. So
hell yeah.
You feel the same way?
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
The after credits.
There was a respect. If you ask me, I think there was a respect.
There was a respect, and he did. He kind of they kind of looked at each other a different way at the end. So it was what? Prepare myself for a sandwich. Lower it back down. Lower it back down for a second.
1 minute, dude.
Yeah. We'll let you know again. So anyway, so yeah, the after credits was they had Vulture in jail.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
And they showed him kind of walking through. He met up with Scorpion. And he's telling him like, okay, I heard you know who Spider-Man is.
Yeah.
He's like, well, if I knew, he'd already be dead. And then they kind of just continue walking separate ways. Now, like we were saying, there seemed like there was a mutual respect because he saved Vulture's life at the end, and he was trying to get him, I guess, get him to come to his senses. Like, don't take off. Like, your wings are messed up, man. Like, come back.
And he was being powered by that damn purple thing. And
so I think there is a level of respect there, and I think we're gonna see something different come from that relationship in the future. I think anyway.
You never know.
So that's going to be an intense situation, I think, and he knows. Again, that was the other thing that made me feel like he was like the Green Goblin.
I mean, he's gonna die.
Of the movie. Yeah, well, that's possible too.
He's gotta die because
that's possible too. But yeah, and then they had the after credit scene, which was the second one, at the very very end, and I was waiting for it, and then what pops up on screen is basically Captain America doing those PSAs again, and explaining to the crowd that, you know what, sometimes we wait for things all into to the very end, and sometimes they're worth it, sometimes they're not. Basically just being a big old troll to everybody.
Man, that burned my ass.
Everybody was cracking up in the theater whenever I went.
For real?
Yeah.
Nobody laughed when I went.
Really?
Everybody was like, and everybody just got up and walked out.
I thought that was so perfect though. It was stupid. It was stupid, but it was funny as well. But yeah, so again, okay, now we're done. Oh. Now we're done. Unless there's something else you want to add.
I was happy that they showed that that Aunt May knows.
Oh, that last scene was I let out the biggest laugh.
Finally,
I let out the biggest, like, that's not like me. I don't laugh like that.
No,
I went and then I caught myself like, oh shit. Yeah, he's getting dressed, or is he changing?
Tony Stark gives him his uniform back.
Oh, that's right. He puts it back on.
Yeah, he puts it back on,
and then they pan the camera around and they show the hallway right where the entrance to his room and Aunt May standing there
and shows
what the
and it
cuts off.
But see, they kind of hinted to it in the other Spider-Man movies that Aunt May knows, but she doesn't, she doesn't do anything.
I thought that was good though.
But now, so this goes to show us that in the next movie, she's gonna be, she's gonna be pissed. She's gonna know and everything. So now this is where his troubles come in. It's that, does he continue to do this to make her worry and feel bad or anything, or does he, does he just stop?
I think he's gonna. I think there's gonna be a match of things. But yeah, so I don't know, man. I thought it was great though.
I think we're done.
Yeah, I think we're done about
But it's good. It's so great good. Movie. Watch the movie.